redefining co-working.
Exceptional offices for every business.
eSpaces expands with 2 premier locations.
Cool Springs at Corporate Center and Brentwood at City Park.
Explore the private offices, team suites, and fully equipped meeting rooms.
Limited spaces are available.
Schedule your private tour now at espaces.com and be sure to check out all 15 locations at espaces.com.
That's eSpaces.com.
espaces.com.
And I got this 11-year-old kid on the tour with his grandma, who's like 80. And I can hear him in the back, and he's going, "That's a multi-vortex tornado." And I look in the rear view, and I see this woman's eyes are like this, just wide, you know, like she was freaking out.
We have a lot of tornado warnings here, obviously in Tennessee, and where we live, fortunately, they don't seem to ever really touch down. Luckily, they do all over the surrounding area. But you know, it comes on the news, and we got the news on, and we're paying attention. And this one lady's on the news always like, "Find your safe place. Find your safe place." I'm thinking to myself, you guys are talking about basements getting ripped out of the ground. You know, I'm like sitting here in this
no such thing
in this tub or this bathroom. I mean, what are we doing?
When I see damage, like that's it for me. Like I am done storm chasing. I don't care how pretty that tornado is or what it's doing or what my guests feel like about that tornado. We're stopping, we're helping. That's always, you know, it's always a big thing for me, you know.
The Try That in a Small Town podcast begins now.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Try That in a Small Town podcast coming to you from the Patriot Mobile Studios, powered by eSpaces. As always, go to patriotmobile.com/smalltown. Put in the code smalltown. Get yourself a free month. And, of course, check out eSpaces.com. We got Thrash here, K-Lo, TK, myself, and today is going to be a fun episode. This is something unlike anything we've ever done. It's awesome. We've got a really interesting guest. His name is Jason Weingart, and he's a professional. Actually, I should ask you, professional storm chaser. Do you get paid to chase storms?
Yes, sir, I do.
Oh, that's the definition of a professional.
That is the definition of a professional. Tell us where you are right now. Where's a home base for you?
So right now I am just outside of Springfield, Illinois. I got a little winter house up here, just kind of for the winter months, just to get a little bit of downtime, some relaxation, get ready for spring. And I'll be heading back down to my other place in Liberty Hill here in just a couple of weeks. That's down in Texas.
Yeah.
So Midwest, I'm from Iowa. That's kind of
nice.
That's where you want to be if you want to chase tornadoes, right? Through Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean,
Kansas.
I go all over. I mean, I'm up, you know, from Texas all the way up into the Dakotas and then over into the Midwest and down into the Southeast sometimes. So yeah, I go all over. I do about 40,000 miles each spring.
I got to ask you this. Does the Southeast suck chasing storms because of the terrain?
It can, but I have a drone, so the terrain's not as big a deal for me.
Forgot.
The road networks are a little bit more dangerous because they kind of wind a little bit more than on the plains where we have a nice gridded road network. So that's really what you got to keep into mind there. But yeah, the terrain with my drone's really no concern. I just put that thing up and I'll see over anything.
I didn't think about that. That's got to be like
technology.
got to make it easier.
So a lot. I got to ask you, so many,
Definitely game changer.
so many questions. But so obviously, like, when and how did you get into this? Because it
seems like the first and obvious.
Yeah,
question.
because people are. I know I've always been really interested in this. I've watched a lot of like shows and documentaries, and you know, growing up in the Northeast, we didn't really have tornadoes. But when I moved to the South, obviously it became a thing. And I got really interested in the whole thing. It's so amazing and scary and everything that they are, right? So what made you start doing it, and how did you start doing it? Like, how do you get into it?
So, I mean, I've been into tornadoes since I was a little kid. It was something that just kind of always piqued my interest. In third grade, there was a TV meteorologist came to our class, showed tornado videos, and between that and like The Wizard of Oz and Twister, that kind of sparked that interest in me when I was really young. I was kind of just working, you know, kind of crappy jobs, decided to go back to college. I went for photography. And I was doing a lot of like photojournalism type stuff, and that was kind of boring to me. So I decided I wanted to get a photo of lightning because I was going to UCF in Orlando, so there was plenty of lightning down there. So I decided in 2009 I was going to try to start shooting lightning. By 2010, I started getting pretty good at it, and then 2013 I started going out to the plains to chase tornadoes for like a week a year.
Did your parents or anybody that loved you ever try to talk you out of it? Your mom, dad.
No. My mom's real supportive. My dad, he actually passed away about a year ago, but they were very supportive. No, that's okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going to join the military." Sometimes somebody would say, "Well, are you sure? Have you checked out other things that aren't quite as dangerous?"
Yeah, they were never too concerned about it. I think they kind of trusted me with what I do, and it wasn't always like really close to tornadoes like I get now. At first, it was just kind of some idiot walking around with a camera taking pictures of storms from miles back, and then now I'm kind of up in it all the time.
Yeah,
it's got to be a rush. It's got to be. I want to do it so bad. I mean, I would have to take a couple of shots to knock the edge off. You know what I'm saying? So I can. Kind of like when I fly. It's like, woo!
So my main thing is actually I run tours. So people pay me to go out for 4 or 7 day tours each spring. I run those from mid-April to July, and that's pretty much my main gig. That's what I do. Full
Jason,
time, and the rest of the year is kind of just content type stuff.
Dude, that is awesome. I didn't even think of that as a business. Tell people how they can do that, because that's a great idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you can get all the information at twisterhunter.com. That'll give you everything from where we pick up people and how much it costs and everything that's included with it.
God, dude, would you take us?
I want to go.
We gotta go with.
We gotta go.
I'd totally take you guys.
Oh,
I know you
I
guys did blast story, man.
Now,
that sounds more dangerous than rafting the Ocoee. Yeah.
It's really, the driving is probably the most dangerous part of all of it. Tornadoes are dangerous and all, but I know what I'm doing. I know how not to get hit by them, how to keep myself out of bad spots and how to get out of bad spots if I find myself, in a precarious situation. But it's really no more dangerous than anything else, It's just the miles.
Oh my God. What's the closest call you've ever had?
My second tornado in 2013 was the Reno, Oklahoma tornado.
The El
to this
Reno.
day, it's still the largest tornado in U.S. history. It was 2.6 miles wide.
Whoa.
And I just barely got out of the way of that thing in time. And then we got caught in a traffic jam because they told everybody they needed to evacuate. So you had pretty much all these little towns around the OKC metro all evacuating onto these little tiny roads, and it just snarled everything. Everybody was stuck. So then we had new storms forming and popping up and coming at us and dropping tornadoes. And that was like my first week storm chasing. So,
well,
Good.
yeah, imagine
Nice intro.
that, because when you just start, you obviously don't have the knowledge that you have now.
I had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
I had no business out there that day.
Yeah, I can just imagine you probably look back and go, it's a miracle I didn't die.
Oh, absolutely. And that tornado is the only one that ever killed storm chasers. It killed 3 really well-known tornado researchers that went by the name Twistex. So that was Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Young. They were impacted just about a mile or so north of where I was, and it ended up killing all 3 of them. And then another amateur chaser was killed right by them as well. So extremely dangerous. Very low predictability tornado. It actually it grew to 2.6 miles wide from a mile wide in about 30 seconds. And at the same time, it went from moving 20 miles per hour to about 55 miles per hour. And then it also turned off to the northeast. And that little turn probably saved me because I was getting out of the way to the south of it. But it also kind of did those guys in that were up a little bit further north.
So what time of day?
Wow.
What time of day was that? Was it late afternoon?
It was
or?
like 6:30 p.m. Typically, tornadoes are like late afternoon, early evening, and then into the overnight hours.
Hey, Jason, so that's the thing that I always think about, because like I said, I've experienced quite a few tornadoes, not like that, but they can be and typically are very unpredictable. So how do you know where to position yourself when I know that they have a path and there's a projected path, but they can turn, like you said, at any moment or gain speed or whatever?
Yeah, you just have to, take into account what kind of tornado it is. They're definitely all different. Like we just saw one with the tours last year in Gary, South Dakota. And I mean, I drove us right up to that thing, but I had a nice paved road that was going just north of the tornado. And then I positioned us just a little bit northwest of it. So I knew that it was moving off, the east-northeast, and the chance of it actually doing like a U-turn and coming back, that's pretty rare. I have seen it happen, but yeah, definitely really rare.
What about like the debris? So if you're following a tornado and you're getting close to it, I guess as you go, you learn all this stuff. Obviously, we've been doing this a long time, but is debris come into your mind like that?
More
unexpected?
so when it ends up blocking the road. You can get power lines and power poles come down and kind of block your path. That's going to be the main concern with debris. Typically, it gets kind of confined to that wind field of the tornado, and you do have to keep in mind that if you're seeing a tornado there, the wind field around it is also the tornado, and it's actually quite a bit larger than what it looks like. So you have to take that into account. And then as long as you're staying out of those really intense winds at the surface, the debris is not that much of a concern.
Have you ever seen, like in the movies, like livestock, cows, pigs, cars, trucks, 18-wheelers in the funnel?
Yeah, I saw a house go flying across the air in Holly, Texas in 2024. It just kind of lifted that whole building up and just sucked it right into it. I came across a farm in Texas in 2017, Canton, Texas. It got hit by an EF3, and there were all these like crazy animals like camels and zebras and monkeys and like just everywhere. And I was the first person to stop there because it just got hit by a tornado. Yeah. I ended up spending a couple hours there pulling those animals out, but thankfully I didn't see any of them flying through the air, but they definitely were at some point.
I got to ask you this. Were you in the South when the 2011 outbreak happened?
So I was going to college then for photography, and I wasn't chasing tornadoes yet. I was very, aware, and I was interested in it. So I watched it, but I wasn't out storm chasing. And I did go up to Tuscaloosa maybe about a week after it happened and just kind of looked at the damage and, was able to see firsthand for the first time what they're actually capable of. And, that was terrible up there.
That was unbelievable because I drove to Louisiana I guess it was a year and a half or 2 years after that outbreak, and I drove down the Natchez Trace Parkway, and I had gotten word that one tornado had gone up the whole Natchez Trace Parkway for about 5 or 6 miles, just rode just like it was on right in the middle of it. And I couldn't believe what it looked like. I could not believe what it looked like. It was
absolutely looks like a war zone.
It just looked like somebody with some big 2 mile wide giant bush hog went up the Natchez Trace Parkway. It was amazing.
Yeah. And they'll take down trees like nothing.
Well, Neil, you've actually been in. What year was it?
1988.
House got hit.
I was in the 1988 Christmas Eve tornado in Cool Springs. And it kind of it was and I was supposed to be deer hunting on the ridge behind my house, and it actually came over there. If I'd have been deer hunting, I'd have been dead. They wouldn't have found me. But that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. And that's what actually made me get really fascinated with weather and watching severe weather.
Definitely life-changing when something like that happens. We're on that, right?
Yeah.
So Jason, when you saw tornadoes, stuff like that, you've decided you wanted to chase them and learn about them. Neil decided to build a storm shelter. So just two different directions.
I had one built.
I did that too. Also have a storm shelter.
Yeah. What's we've kind of been asking how you got into it and stuff, but like what is the passion of this job? Is it in the filming part of it? Is it the actual tornado that fascinates you? Is it the combination of capturing it? Like, what is it that really drives you to do this for your job?
Yes, everything you just said.
All of the
that's awesome
for it. Getting to see something like that, it's just so powerful, and it's definitely a humbling experience, and it's scary. I mean, even to this day, when I'm seeing one, my body can't help it. It shakes, and it's definitely there's a lot of adrenaline involved, but also just the experience of being out and just seeing the U.S. Up through all these little highways and getting to see all these little towns and meet the people that live there. That's such a huge part of it too. So just all the traveling around, staying in the hotels every night, just, all of it. It's so much fun. I couldn't imagine it.
You know what goes great with small town stories?
Original Glory, America's beer right here.
You know, I've been drinking this every songwriting session today.
Man, that clean, crisp taste reminds me of summer nights on the back porch after a fresh mowed lawn.
And they're just not making great beer. They're investing in America's small towns.
Well, it's just like us. They believe in bringing communities together.
Not only do they invest in communities, but a portion of each sale goes to the veterans and the first responders and all the heroes that protect us.
For a limited time, you can become a member of the OG fam and invest in this beer at wefunder.com/original brands.
Join our Original Glory family and help ignite that Original Glory spirit.
My name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. And then we have 4 principles. First Amendment, Second Amendment, right to life, military and first responders. If you have a place to go put your money, you always want to put it with somebody that's like-minded. Of course. I think that's the beauty of Patriot Mobile. We're a conservative alternative.
Don't get fooled by other providers pretending to share your values or have the same coverage. Go to patriotmobile.com/smalltown to get a free month of service when you use the offer code SMALLTOWN or call 972-PATRIOT.
Did you happen to watch that documentary on Netflix, I think about the Joplin tornado?
I did.
That's pretty good. So was that 2013? Or is
that was 2011.
2011. Okay, so that was before too.
Is that the same system that came through Alabama and Tennessee and all that? Was that the same system?
No, because the super outbreak was April 27th, and then I want to say Joplin was May 22nd. So they had about a month in between.
That was a volatile year. Good Lord.
That documentary was, some of that footage is wild. How violent that tornado was, and it just tore up. I mean, leveled Joplin. It
happened so fast. I mean, that thing, if you see some of the footage when it first forms, it's like this little tiny rope and it's kind of dancing around. The power lines are sparking, and then 30 seconds later, it's this huge wedge just roaring into town, just like that. And I saw that there was an EF5 this last year in Enderlin, North Dakota, and that was very similar. Just all of a sudden, there was like nothing, and then there was a massive wedge, it's crazy how quick these things happen.
So an F5, when you're close to it like you are, when you get close to the F5, does it just look like a giant wall, or can you actually see like the funnel, or is it just so big that you just can't really get perspective on what you're looking at?
So it depends. So like El Reno, it ended up getting rated an EF3 because it didn't hit anything, really, but it was definitely, EF5 caliber. It looked like just kind of this big like wall of rain that was like twisting around. You could see like little vortexes inside of it, but it didn't look like, that classic tornado. Enderlin was at night, so I could only see it when the lightning flashed, and I would see like the big silhouette of the wedge there. I flew my drone up to it, which was really cool. I was the only one that's flown a drone on an EF5 tornado now.
Oh, wow.
Man. Nobody else can say that right now. Because there's only been, we had more in 2013. That was an EF5. And then we didn't have an EF5. The whole time I started chasing, there hasn't been an EF5 until this last one. That was the first one in 13 years of me chasing tornadoes.
That's amazing. Wow. Does your drone pick up wind speed and barometric pressure and all that stuff?
Mine doesn't. It's just for, filming and getting, high quality video. But there are chasers, I just came back from the National Storm Chaser Summit, and there's groups that are, now flying drones into tornadoes and taking those measurements. And they're actually, what they're doing now is they're attaching the probes to the drones. And they'll fly that drone out in front of the tornado and then drop that probe down. It's got a big spike that sticks down to the ground in front of the tornado. So instead of, actually having human beings go out and set down probes in the paths of tornadoes, we're now able to do this with drones, flying them out in front of them and just dropping them and then flying the drone back out. So, the safety aspect of it's, tremendous.
I can't wait to go with you. I cannot wait. Now,
it's so much fun.
You can tell us all about it.
You don't drive people up next, like if you're by yourself and you're actually if you were doing a tour, you would you hang back a little bit, or do you give them the full deal? What?
No, I'm not a hang back kind of guy.
It's not free. They're paying money for this.
I want to get up there because there's you can see a tornado and it's a couple miles away and it almost looks like flat and two-dimensional. It's just like a shape. But when you drive right up under that storm and you're looking up and the whole thing's twisting above your head, and totally different experience.
Oh my God,
no, thank you.
At all.
No, thank you.
I feel like after, was it 95 or 96 when Twister came out? I feel like after Twister, 96, somewhere in there. I feel like after that movie came out, like everybody, I know I did. I remember seeing that movie thinking, wow, I'm super interested in this. I wonder how many people went out and decided to be storm chasers and never made it back. You know, it's like,
That definitely was kind of the first like bump in the popularity of storm chasing was when Twister came out in 96. And then as you got into like the late 2000s, Discovery had that series called Storm Chasers with, Reed Timmer and Sean Casey and the Intercept vehicles. That was when I started really getting into chasing, and that, made it blow up. And then the last few years with Twisters coming out, and then also like TikTok, there's so many kids on there that are really into tornadoes and storm chasing. Like there's a whole community of them. So like the popularity of this has just absolutely exploded in the last like 5 years. And now it's like, when you go out there and you're storm chasing, there's so many people out there. It's completely different than when I first started.
Do you get amateurs trying to follow you around? Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah.
My van actually says on the back, do not follow in severe weather. And, I had to put that because there would be times I look back, there's 10 cars following me, and I'm, driving right into like a rain wrap tornado. And it's like, y'all are going to get killed because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that warning is about as effective as stay 50 feet behind this vehicle, right? You mentioned Twister, like, so from the storm chasing aspect, how close is the chasing in a movie like Twister?
It's definitely similar. And Twisters did a pretty good job as well too. I think Twisters was probably a little bit more realistic to what storm chasing is compared to Twister, but Twister was the superior movie for sure.
Do you are they really in the trucks? Do you have the stakes that come out from underneath the truck that go into the ground to plant you to the ground?
I don't. But there's other people.
But that's available.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Okay. And it's something that I'm exploring. I'm considering maybe building an intercept vehicle here in the next couple of years. So if anybody wants to invest in that and ride out a tornado with me,
okay. When you get that, I may reconsider going out with you one time. We'll wait and get those stuff.
That's going to be way more dangerous than the vans, man.
Oh no!
What? What do you mean? How is it more dangerous than the vans?
So, like with the vans, I have some fear still.
Yeah.
But if you give me like an armored tank,
I get you.
There ain't even nothing that I'm not driving in.
I think what's cool about what you're doing is it's incredible, but the footage that you post to your Instagram, that's when I first became aware of you. Really, was it just popped up on my feed one day, and I was like, what are these? I thought they were fake, and the images are so amazing in the videos. It's like, I think you're kind of changing the game in that way, at least from what other sites I've seen posting, tornado footage.
What is it, Tully? Tell them where they find the Instagram and check. Is it Jason Weingart? Is it at Jason Weingart?
Jason Weingart.
Okay. Yeah, and verified, and you'll know it's him right away by the footage. But it's so amazing looking and clear. You feel like, it's so clear. Like I've never seen it like that before. And that was really, really awesome. Like what you're doing with your Instagram. You must get some crazy, just messages about, do they message you saying, hey, there's a storm coming in, or hey, there's, I know you're always running around.
All sorts.
Yeah.
My inbox is a pretty wild place. I get some pretty crazy messages. But thank you for the compliment on my work. And I think that's, a lot of that's my photography background.
Right.
That's what I went to school for. I never took a meteorology class in my life. I just kind of learned all that stuff on my own. So yeah, I think that's helped a lot, focusing on photography and just kind of picking up the meteorology. I wouldn't suggest anyone else ever do that, but it worked out.
I got to ask you one question about how Tornado Alley shifts. Does it shift? Is there a pattern that you guys have figured out?
I don't think so. I mean, if you look at the places that, that are, Tornado Alley, they've been getting tornadoes as long as we've been here to tell you about it. So, there's been big tornadoes and big outbreaks in the late 1800s that are well documented off to the east. And, we're seeing such like a short little snippet of time here to think like, that we really know a whole lot about like, where these things are occurring. It just seems a little bit far-fetched to me. And I think it's probably just been this way for a very long time.
Hey, with
I think we
that-
just see it more now because, you have
Right.
population spread, so there's more people. Everybody's got a cell phone in their pocket, which is, an amazing camera nowadays. A lot of times I find myself going for my cell phone more than, my DSLR.
God, that's interesting. So along with that question, it reminds me, so I grew up in Iowa, my whole childhood there, and I lived in Des Moines, and the side of town that I was in, thankfully, never got hit. They used to say, because there's a river there, and they would say the fork in the river, somehow would protect the tornado from coming that way. Is that real? Is it BS? Are there topical things that can actually defer a tornado's path?
So absolutely. I mean, the terrain has an influence on a tornado's path, the tornado's strength. Whether that fork in the river is the reason or if it's just kind of been luck, who knows? But I've definitely seen terrain influence tornadoes and which way they're moving and how strong they are. The friction plays a lot into them. So, if you got one kind of out in an open field, everything can just feed into it a lot easier. If that thing's sitting in buildings and, trees and things like that, that's creating friction. Just, it'll probably help weaken it a little bit. But, these storms are 70,000 feet tall. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the terrain influence is probably fairly minimal.
Makes sense.
70,000 feet. Nobody realizes how tall these things are.
No. Well, like you said, you see it from 2 miles away and you go, oh, wow, a tornado, but you don't experience it as that massive.
Yep.
So this is, I don't know, I'm curious about this. So if someone does get in the path of a tornado, say you're right, it picks you up. Does it just throw you out of it, or does it actually like suck you up into it? What's the action? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, just how's that work? Now I know it's not good. I know it's not going to end well.
It's not good.
It's definitely not good. But like in a big tornado, like say El Reno, there were some chasers that got documented getting hit by that, and that just kind of rolled their vehicles and stuff. But they were in like a big, massive wind field. Now, if it's like a smaller, intense tornado, I've seen it, pick up debris, and it tends to kind of like orbit around it a few times, and then it gets ejected out.
Right. Man, that's...
But I mean, it will suck stuff up, and I mean, that's why they find debris, 30, 40, 200 miles from where these tornadoes occurred.
That's what blew my mind about the outbreak in 2011, the one that went through Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. When you drove through that town afterwards, there weren't only buildings gone, there were slabs gone where the buildings were sitting on, concrete slabs. I mean, it was yanking the concrete slab up out of the ground. Like, you weren't safe unless you were underground.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen tornadoes that have actually pulled basements up out of the ground. So
that is terrifying.
It's when you see the devastation afterwards. That's what happened in '88 when it hit our house. When we came outside after it hit us, because I was in bed and it was like 5 a.m. and I heard this thunk 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 thunk, like, and I didn't know what it was. It woke me up, and it was shingles starting to be ripped off the roof, and then my windows blew out, and by the time, I mean, I hit the dirt, but I was at the bottom of the stairs, and then we went outside because it was over like that, and went outside, and there's freaking, your
Farrah Fawcett poster was ripped out.
My Farrah Fawcett poster was gone.
Yeah, Cheryl Teagues.
But it was actually, we were on the edge of it, so we dodged the direct hit, but it was right on the edge. It threw an 18-wheeler trailer into our house, destroyed the house.
Yeah,
but it flattened everything. But that's what got me fascinated with the weather was 1988. Yeah. But when you see the devastation firsthand, you start respecting it a lot more, which blows my mind. Still to this day, people don't take it serious. I see these mothers taking their kids to soccer, and there's a tornado warning right over your head.
Oh, yeah.
Or playing golf.
I see it all the time and be like, a moderate risk, high-end type day, and sirens are blaring, and people are just walking into the stores.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? These things will rip your skin off.
I mean,
hey, Jason,
it depends where too. Like in Oklahoma, they take it very seriously. On big days, the schools get shut down, the news helicopters are flying around. I think when you get over into like the Midwest, there's more of kind of like it's not going to happen to us kind of attitude about the whole thing.
I know it. It's not going to happen to us. It's always that guy.
So two-part question here. So do you think tornadoes have a mind of their own, and you think the majority of the time that they target small towns and they don't really like country people?
Some of them definitely seemed like they had a mind of their own, or like fate or some kind of stuff. But I think it's all just a lot of just randomness going on. I don't think anything's really got a mind of its own. And as far as like towns getting hit, cities definitely do get hit by them. I think a lot of times they tend to kind of just avoid towns because if you look out in the plains where I chase mostly, you'll have a town and then it's not it's 10 miles of wheat fields and then it's another town, so you have a lot of like nice open spaces for these tornadoes to go. And that's honestly the ideal ones for me, is the ones that just occur out in the middle of nowhere, look really pretty and don't ever hit anything or hurt anybody and then go back up.
What state have you filmed got the most footage in?
Texas.
Really?
Yeah, seen a lot of tornadoes. I've probably seen like half of my tornadoes in Texas. I've seen about 300.
West Texas, because what part of Texas?
Like central, and then off to the west, western North Texas, quite a bit too, and then up in the Panhandle. Yeah, really active there. And you'll have some days where you'll see 5-10 tornadoes that day. So yeah, typically when you see one, the atmosphere is right for them, and they're going to kind of keep forming. It's very rare for me to see one tornado on a day. Usually I see a few of them when I see them.
We have a lot of tornado warnings here, obviously in Tennessee, and where we live, fortunately, they don't seem to ever really touch down. Luckily, they do all over the surrounding area. But it comes on the news, and we got the news on, and we're paying attention. And this one lady's on the news always like, find your safe place, find your safe place. I'm thinking to myself, you guys are talking about basements getting ripped out of the ground. I'm like sitting here in this
no such thing
in this tub or this bathroom. I mean, what are we doing?
Well, in Tennessee, which doesn't have basements for the most part,
right?
Yeah, and they don't make a center of the house. They get to the center of the house. There's not a center in most houses. It's a powder room.
I'm not a fan of basements, and I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm like we had a friend who had a basement, and they built a basement for storms in Tennessee. But they had a daughter that wound up getting killed in the basement. Everybody else survived except for her, and it was because the chimney came down and went through and went down to the basement and landed on her. And the basement didn't, because the house imploded into the basement. And I'm like,
yeah, it's not like it just all gets like pulled away and gone.
Right.
Kinds of stuff crashing down. That's horrible.
That's exactly what happened. And I'm like, I'm always pushing, get a shelter. I don't care if it's above ground, below ground, get a shelter. They're safe.
Yeah. If you can have, steel reinforced concrete, underground's definitely going to be your best bet.
Yeah.
But, they do make some of these, kind of like metal type shelters that sit above ground that they say they're rated for EF5.
That's what they say.
How does that work though? What do you got? Got a bunch of cables coming down. Like how does that stay?
That's what I have.
Well, it's bolted.
It's bolted.
I guess you can't like crush it or something. It's just real thick metal. But I feel like if bulldozer got dropped on it from like 300 feet in the air, I still don't think it would fare very well.
I don't either.
I feel like you're like a giant heavy duty porta potty or something.
Yeah.
In 2011, there were actually, I forget which tornado it was, but I want to say it was in Mississippi, that it actually pulled the storm shelter up out of the ground. I think it was Smithfield, Mississippi, I want to say. But yeah, it was one of those that was documented that it pulled the shelter up out of the ground.
That sucks too. If you're in your storm shelter and you feel it, I don't know what they cost, but they can't be cheap.
When you can't sue anybody because you're gone.
$6,000
How much?
One buried in the ground in Texas.
Yeah.
What's it run?
Mine was about mine was about $6,500.
Yeah. That's less than I thought.
It's in my garage. It's real small, but it's bolted to the garage floor, to the concrete. It's bolted all the way through and anchored. So it would have to pull the whole concrete slab up.
And you got to figure, most tornadoes are like EF1, EF2s.
That's right.
It's rare to get an EF4 and EF5, so that'll get you through just about every tornado. It's super rare that they get that strong.
What's the tornado? Have you had a couple where you just couldn't believe how long they stayed on the ground? Like, because
my first one was in Bennington, Kansas, and it sat stationary in a field next to us for 45 minutes. Basically.
Oh my gosh!
Like figure eight.
What?
Killed like 400 cattle out there.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it didn't move. It just sat there basically. But yeah, they can last a very long time. There was one that happened. It was in between my tours. I dropped one off, and then I was going to go pick the next one up, and it happened in between those, and I couldn't get to it. That thing was on the ground for like 70 minutes, and I was so mad.
So how does that work? Like doing your tours, like how do you schedule this stuff?
Yeah.
Like how do you schedule around?
So they run 4 or 7 days, and then I start them in mid-April is the first one, and then they start out at Dallas. So we're out of Dallas for about the first month, and then the second month, about mid-May, we move them up to Oklahoma City and pick up out of there, and then the last few weeks I run out of Denver because tornadoes tend to migrate north through the U.S. through the course of spring going into summer. So early in the season, like March and April, you expect to be down in like Texas and in the southeast, maybe up in Oklahoma a little bit. And then as you get into, summer months, like late summer, we're, very often up in North Dakota, Minnesota, things like that. So you just kind of float that pickup spot based on climatology. So we just have the people fly in or drive in, however they want to do it, meet them at the hotel, pick them up, give them a brief, orientation, some safety briefings, and then we head out to chase for either, 4 or 7 days. And, we'll go wherever we need to. Some days it's, a short little few hour drive. Some days we're doing like 12-hour drives to get in position for the next day. So every week's a little bit different, but, pick them up, take them out, and chase pretty much every day. There's definitely some down days in between. We try to do some, fun stuff like roadside USA type stuff, like go eat at like the Big Texan or something like that.
We gotta go because that would be.
Oh, you guys would love it.
I mean, we've had some interesting.
We'll bring our guitars and write songs.
We've had a couple of close encounters, awesome. like being on the road and being in the bus. That can't remember what outbreak it was, what year it was. If it was the 11 out, it might have been that.
May have been actually
that outbreak because we were driving up through. God, I want to say Indiana or Illinois or one of those places, but we got our bus driver. He pulled the bus over and he came back and goes, "Get down." We're like, "Oh no," this isn't good. I remember Aldine just diving into his bunk, and
and he didn't know what to do. He was like, "Should we stay or should we drive through it?" We ended up driving through it, not literally through it, but we drove through the storm. As we came back for Sunday, that same exit was totally demolished.
Yeah.
It hit right there.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, thank God we drove.
Yeah, a tour bus isn't the safest vehicle.
No, it's the worst thing you could be.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
Wow.
And we're idiots. We're
very high wind profiles. RVs, semis, that kind of stuff goes first, all the time.
Well, we saw the hail come in. We were at a truck stop. You remember that?
Yeah.
And the hail started to come in, huge hail. And these guys, I stayed on the bus, and these guys ran into the truck stop. I'm like, and they came back, and they had bruises all over them. And I'm like, wow, this is a real storm. Like,
yeah.
And it wasn't long after that we were like pulled over under like a underpass, But
hey, Jason, is it true the saying "calm before the storm"? Is it the most calm right before that tornado comes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Depending on the way it's moving, but typically you'll have that big rain, precip, hail core out in front of the tornado. So you get all that moved through, and then right after that, there's kind of like a little gap where that hook starts to wrap down. So you'd have just a little, very small area of, not intense winds or any rain or anything. And it's going to sound very calm there. And then, then the tornado comes in that hook.
I gotta know this. I gotta know how far in advance, because I know you're always watching radar. I know you're always watching the weather, and you're always watching jet streams, and you're always watching the next predicted front to come through. How far out can you look now with technology? How far out can you predict like this is going to be something?
So we can pretty much tell that something's coming on the horizon. Patterns are very predictable. The mesoscale details are a little bit harder to still figure out. So, we can know that there's, very likely going to be a significant tornado outbreak in 5 or 7 days. And if all the models are showing it, those tend to have, a little bit higher predictability. As we get, within like the actual event happening, 24 to 48 hours is when the high resolution forecast models go out to, and those are, really good about predicting details. Sometimes they're really good, sometimes they're not. But, I'd say, 24 to 48 hours in advance, I can have a pretty good idea, like, these few counties are going to have, some pretty intense severe weather moving through it this time.
And you've gotten pretty
and,
good.
It's definitely getting better and better with, AI has come into forecasting quite a bit, and, some advances in that. Things just keep getting more and more predictable as, the science advances.
And what music are you jamming to when you're chasing the tornado?
I was going to ask that too.
Is it maybe like Hunter Hayes, like Storm Warning?
I just play Ain't No Love in Oklahoma on repeat the entire spring. It's never shut off. No, I'll tend to, just kind of hand Spotify around if people in the van want to play. I like a lot of rock music. I also like country. I tend to like a little bit of the more classic country, a little bit better than the newer stuff. But I'll listen to pretty much anything. If somebody in the van has paid me a few $1,000s to ride with me for the week and they want to hear a song, damn it, they're going to hear that song.
So have you had anybody like all excited? They're in the van and you got the tour going. And have you had them like get really freaked out when they actually see their tornado? Like, are you getting, like they start to say, get out of here, I'm freaking out?
The best one was when the guy, and I'm coming up onto this EF3 tornado in Texas at night, and it's scary. And the guy goes, "Turn this van around, you stupid redneck." I loved it. I went faster then.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I got to see that
That's
waiver.
incredible.
I got to see the waiver you have to give people.
Wow. I don't want to go at night, man. I want to go in the daytime. I don't want to.
Well, I think you got to go in the tornadoes.
we focus in the daytime.
Yeah.
Most chasers, they do shut it down at night, and most of the tours do shut it down at night. And it's probably a good safety aspect, but I like it. I like storm chasing at night.
Yeah.
We got the right
so
guy.
intense.
Has there ever been a
You got
time?
to be out there both. I mean, and it's nothing for me. We'll get up and we got to leave at say like 8 or 9 a.m. I'm not the biggest morning person guy. If we leave at like 9 a.m., we might not get into the next hotel until 2 or 3 that next morning. So depending on the setup, I've definitely kept the groups out very late. Like with the Enderlin tornado last year, I think it was about 24 hours we were out straight on that just to get up there in time, chase it, see it. And then we're in this middle of this just massive disaster area because there was that big supercell that put down all the tornadoes, but then there was a derecho that came behind it and just had like 120 mile an hour winds, and it just hit the whole area. So everything was destroyed. The whole eastern half of North Dakota was pretty much destroyed, and we had to drive. I think it was like 4 hours to get to the next hotel that night. And it's like 11:30 at night, and I'm just finishing up helping with search and rescue, and I still got like 4 hours to drive to the hotel. So we can definitely spend some time on the road.
Wow.
But thankfully, the guests just go to sleep, and then they just let us kind of handle the driving.
Yeah, that's so interesting because a lot of your job is downtime, whether it's driving, like you said, you go into the motel and maybe you got to kill some time. And you mentioned sometimes. Give us a couple things that you do during the downtime.
So I do teach a lot. I teach forecasting. I run different kinds of tours. So there's the twisterhunter.com tours. It's just more like storm chasing for people with phones and stuff like that. But we also have a photo tour that runs. That's at jasonweingart.com. We teach them in the mornings how to edit their photos, how to edit videos, things like that. As far as like just fun stuff to do, we'll go to like the Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo and like the Big Texan. That's a pretty consistent one for storm chase tours. Waukeeta, Oklahoma, they have a Twister movie museum there. The National Weather Museum in Norman. We like to go out to Roswell sometimes.
That's fun. That's a fun place.
Just hit national parks and things like that if it's really slow. But hopefully, usually I'm not just out chasing because I don't want to go out and see roadside stuff too often. It's fun, once in a while. But I like to say, if it's a 7-day tour, I would like to be storm chasing at least 5 of those days.
Have you ever been like doing your job and you're chasing a storm, maybe you're close and you see somebody that's panicked or doesn't have any shelter or on the side of the road for some reason, and you just stop what you're doing and help them, or do you kind of keep it rolling and see how long they can hold on to the fence post?
I mean, if somebody needs some help, I definitely stop to help. I offered some bikers that I saw last year. They were kind of caught up out in the storm. I offered them to get in. They declined. They were probably afraid of where I was going to take them if they did get in. I definitely always try to help people out there. Truckers, I'm stopping them quite a bit and telling them, not to go this way or that way. And then law enforcement, I'm constantly getting stopped by police because, it's very obviously a storm chase van. It's got weather equipment and lights and everything. So they're always stopping and asking, what's going on, where do they, need to be, to be safe or to help, the people in their jurisdictions.
That's the wild thing about what you do, man. It could turn your job could turn into storm chasing, videoing, taking pictures, and switch to a search and rescue
or saving somebody's life.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Yeah, it's like you'll be sitting there, filming and watching a tornado, and then all of a sudden there's like this poof up from the ground, and then you just know that that's insulation, building materials and things like that, and that's when you switch gears. Because when I see damage, like that's it for me. Like I am done storm chasing. I don't care how pretty that tornado is or what it's doing or what my guests feel like about that tornado. We're stopping, we're helping. That's always, it's always a big thing for me. Be a human being, and there's times to put that camera down and help people.
That's awesome, Jason.
Yeah, that's
good
incredible.
On you.
Thank you.
That's so good. Oh God, how long do you see yourself doing this? Forever?
As long as I can. I can't see myself ever quitting.
Can you ever see that job getting old?
My hope is to maybe make it to like 75, 80, and then just ride one on out of here.
Nice.
How does that work? Like your business, like, do you have like sponsors like help you get going, or is it just how does
it's all been just kind of me, really, and then the guests, they're the big part. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't get to do this like I do. Thankfully, I get quite a few of them, and a lot of them come back every year, and then for like weeks at a time. Like I got some guy that he comes from Turkey every year for like 3 to 5 weeks, depending on what kind of mood he's in. So, it's all just been the guests helping fund this, and that's been it. I would like to get some sponsors. It's something that I'm, considering maybe. I don't really want any like investors in the business, but I'm definitely not opposed to somebody paying to like slap something real big on the side of the van. Get a lot of eyeballs on that. And then every time someone's like passing us, you just always see like the phones just aimed at us. It's great visibility.
But before you had the guests and people paying for those missions and stuff, how were you getting paid? Like, would you sell footage to local news stations and stuff like that? Is that how you were kind of getting by and starting out?
I was a bartender for the longest time. I would, bartend, cook at a restaurant there in Georgetown, Texas called Roots Bistro. And finally I just quit that and focused on my, photography and storm chasing and just kind of run with it. A lot of media sales over the years, and then I did art shows for a while, selling like prints and things like that. But once those workshops kind of took off, I just focused all into that and let all the other stuff kind of fall off.
And the footage you get so amazing. It feels like you could do a really amazing like reality show around your tours. Because it's so.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting. Like, it would be cool to have like a show like follow like the different tours, because we're all a little different. There's some of these guys are pushing 70, 75 years old, still running their tours. So I'm sure theirs are vastly different than mine. Mine's more of kind of like a fun time and an adventure. Theirs are very proper and all that.
Yeah. Do you have like a crew that goes with you? You go by yourself, or how many guys?
A little mixture of both. I kind of cycle in some help throughout the season. Sometimes it's just me running the tour and driving it myself and doing everything on my own. I feel very comfortable and confident doing that, but it's nice to bring in some help and just sit over in the passenger seat and kind of be a little bit lazier weeks at a time. But yeah, I just kind of cycle some other chasers and meteorologists and professional drivers in throughout the season, because it is 2 vans. I can't drive them both, unfortunately. I wish I could just tie one to the other and go that way.
I don't know if I trust you yet. I don't know, Jason. I'm trying to feel you out, man, if I trust you or not. But I'm warming up.
How many can you fit in the van? Like, what's the capacity of the van that you?
So it's a 15-passenger van, and I max it out at 7 guests. So everybody's got plenty of space and a nice window seat. Nobody's crammed in any like middle spot, because
I can't wait. We have to do this.
Oh, yeah. We have to do this.
We have to do this.
Is there whiskey? Is there whiskey on the van?
So I don't care what y'all do. And I definitely, whatever goes on back there, I'm focused on the road and driving. And, I definitely, there's times I'm hearing some bottles pop open back there and seeing the guests come out of the gas station with stuff in their arms. But it's just kind of, like that. And I let you guys have fun out there, right? And that's what it's about. I want my tour guests to have fun. I want them to see awesome stuff and have a memorable experience and come back year after year just to build memories.
I mean, it's incredible. It's
but
incredible.
It helps when a group knows each other like that, or it's a bunch of similar minded people. And then sometimes, there's one or two people that are obviously not, too fun with the whiskey and things like that. But usually everybody kind of flows together good. And especially with the two vans, we can kind of separate the personalities of the guests and kind of get, all the older people that might not want to sit there and listen to everybody drinking and having, fun. Obviously not me. I don't drink at all while driving tours, but,
obviously you can't say that.
No, not a big drinker. I mean, sometimes I'll if we have a big night, I'll, have one or two at the hotel, but typically it's at the hotel, I'm still working. I'm still editing footage. I'm cleaning out cards on the cameras. I'm charging batteries, forecasting for the next day. So there's not really a lot of time for me to party with the guests. Like it when I do on occasion.
Man, you could have an art gallery with all of your photos that you have. It would be the most amazing art gallery. It would.
We need a, and whatever you let me know, message me or text me. I'd love to get a picture. You signed a picture, we could put it in the office here.
Oh, that'd be great.
Man. We can definitely set that up.
We'll hook that up. It'd be nice to have something on the wall because it's really incredible what you're doing. It caught my eye immediately. God, it's dick because I see a lot of tornado stuff comes up on my feed on Instagram. I'm kind of interested in that. And the footage, I haven't seen footage like yours though, where it almost doesn't look real. It's so clean and clear looking.
It's funny. It's I don't see it when I look at it. I'm like, this is shit. What is wrong with this work? I'm definitely my biggest critic, but I hear that kind of stuff a lot. So I'm really glad that so many people like my work. It definitely helps. Those long days and times where things aren't quite going right. Because it's definitely kind of like this with storm chasing. The beginning of last season, I couldn't catch a break. Every day was a bust for the whole month that I was out chasing by myself. Because I go out on my own before the tours start just to kind of get back into the swing of things, but. Yeah, I was doubting myself, and then one day, it just flipped, and I couldn't do anything wrong the whole rest of the season. I was at every tornado when it dropped, everything was just perfect. So weird, and I didn't do anything different. It was just luck.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you your opinion on this. We learned recently that Aldine and these guys are going to Australia for a tour, doing a bunch of shows, and we learned that Tully wants to get in the shark cage, right, in Australia with a great white, and see those. Do you think, is that more dangerous, diving with the sharks in a cage or chasing a tornado? What's the danger level?
Tornadoes.
I would have to probably go with the sharks because how many people get killed doing that every year? Versus, how many,
Wait, how many people do get killed doing that? What do you know that I don't know?
Do people get killed?
I would think chasing would be the safer of the two. I would rather definitely deal with tornadoes than sharks. I know that.
Okay.
Hey, do you do any other?
Curious.
Do you do any other risk adventure things other than chasing tornadoes?
Yeah.
Right songs.
I like volcanoes. I've gone to Hawaii a few times to hike lava and get close to that. That was really cool. I've been to Iceland a few times, even though it's not a dangerous thing, just to see northern lights and all the beautiful landscapes there. I do a lot of astrophotography, so I teach astrophotography workshops in March and July and August in Southwest Texas. That can be a little dangerous with the rattlesnakes for sure. And then I also do Texas bluebonnets. They're these wildflowers that just kind of cover the whole landscape. And that was really while I was building up my storm chasing stuff, my astrophotography and my landscape photography, these bluebonnet flower things was kind of my bread and butter while it was building my reputation up as a storm chaser to where people would hand me $3,000 to spend the week with me. So, at first, my first storm chasing tour had 2 people on it. It was a 3-day tour. And that was it. It was one 3-day tour the whole season. Now, I have 2 vans full of people every week, and it runs for 3 months. So it just keeps growing and growing.
Wow, what a great idea! Especially,
it is.
That's something to be driving into the tornado. Man, and people got to be freaking out a little bit, like when it gets
like,
real.
When we're pulling up onto something big like that, like the Gary, South Dakota tornado. I drove us like probably up. We're within a football field of this massive stovepipe tornado, and I got this 11-year-old kid on the tour with his grandma who's like 80, and I can hear him in the back, and he's going, "That's a multi-vortex tornado." And I look in the rear view and I see this woman's eyes are like this, just wide, like she was freaking out. So.
Wow.
It's okay, Grandma.
Well, we do this segment in the show sometimes. It's called People Are Idiots or Dipshitiots. And so in all of your time, what's one of the most stupid things you've seen someone do in a tornado?
I've seen people, like, the biggest thing is just losing situational awareness of where they are, walking out onto the road in front of people, or taking pictures of people who have done, like, just lost everything. And then people, taking pictures like it's there for, like, their, like, amusement or whatever. That would be the worst thing I've seen somebody do, honestly.
Yeah.
And then what's the safest thing you could recommend somebody do if they're in a storm like that? If they're out in the open, do you get in the ditch, lowest point? What's the safest thing somebody should do?
So what I would do if, I thought I was about to get hit by a tornado and there was no shelter to go to, I think really the best thing you could do would be just to drive your car down into the ditch and then probably try to get out and climb underneath it.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't like any of that.
Well, you get yourself in that situation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I've been hit by a couple of them, smaller ones, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't. Well, some of them were. Some of them it's on purpose. It's like it's like this big weak thing. And it's like I'm just going to drive straight into that. And then the other ones, it's like something happened wrong. Suddenly, I'm about to get hit by this.
Did you see the footage? Did you see the footage of the dude? And it was down. I think it was down south somewhere. The dude in the red pickup truck. I think it was a Chevy.
Oh yeah, it was right by where I live. He was in Cedar Park or.
It flipped his truck over on the interstate. Texas. Yeah, flipped it over. I've seen the footage. He does a complete barrel roll or whatever, lands back on the tires and drives away.
Yep, that was like a 16-year-old boy, and Chevy bought him a brand new Silverado.
It was amazing.
It went so viral.
Wow.
Have you guys seen that?
No, I haven't seen it.
You got to look it up. It's amazing. This dude gets hit by a tornado in his pickup truck. It flips it over, back on its wheels, and he drives away from it, and it escapes.
What?
Oh yeah, it's amazing footage.
Barrel roll and just lands up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, off he goes. Yeah. What's the story with the platinum record?
Yeah, I know.
Above
I've
your
been
head?
dying to ask.
So it's a gift. It's Stevie Ray Vaughan, Can't Stand the Weather.
Oh, good taste.
Nice, really nice.
I love that.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Woo.
Good taste.
Oh, Jason, this has been exhilarating. Just the talking of
We
it.
could go for hours. I could ask so many.
I feel like I'm just running a tour and I'm just like talking to you guys, trolling the back. I think we got a good rapport, and you guys definitely need to come out and chase it.
We got to do that. So we got to find time to do this. I mean, in this, I guess.
Obviously, spring, summer is the time, right?
I think I'll be overseas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've got to do this. What great! I mean, take us out and we can get some good footage and it'd be good. I know our listeners and we would love to. I'm so interested in this stuff. It's amazing, and what you're doing is amazing. Giving people a way to look at it like that.
Yeah,
it's your footage is amazing. So congratulations to you,
Jason. Where are you? Instagram, TikTok. Where are you? Everywhere.
Instagram and Facebook are my two big ones. I was pretty big on TikTok. I have 277,000 followers on there, but they demonetized me like 2 weeks ago. And I decided that I was just going to just blow the whole thing up. So I deleted all my content off there. It's now just an empty account with 277,000
followers.
followers.
We encourage everybody to follow Jason.
But Instagram is
incredible footage.
Okay.
Was there a reason? Like what happened?
So I appealed it, and they came back with low quality content was their reason.
Low quality
content. That was
content.
what made me decide to just go ahead and just delete it all. So if it was low quality, they wouldn't want it on the platform.
Low quality content.
Wow.
Damn Chinese.
Well, thanks for your time, man.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, no problem. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
buddy.
We appreciate you.
We got dudes lip syncing in front of their truck singing a song, and it looked like shit.
God, I know.
And we got this guy, that's amazing. Well,
thankfully, Facebook takes really good care of me still. I get a nice little deposit from them every month, so I definitely appreciate it. It's not needed, but it's definitely.
What about YouTube? Is your stuff there?
So I just started a new YouTube. I had one since like college, and it only had like 7,000 followers. I was like, this thing's just never gonna be it. So I went ahead and just started a new one a couple weeks ago, Twister Hunter, and I got like 2 videos up on it so far. But I'm gonna do a lot of live streaming this spring. I'm gonna have obviously the Starlinks going, so I can just live stream. I'll probably do that on Facebook and YouTube is my plan. So hopefully I can grow that YouTube up pretty fast.
Yeah, we encourage everybody to follow Jason Weingart.
Oh yeah,
thank you. I appreciate it. I try to be really engaged with my audience. I feel as a creator, it's important to like respond to comments and respond to messages. I don't respond to them all. I couldn't, it would just take me just all day and night every day, thankfully. But I do try to definitely be responsive to people. When they have questions, I try to answer.
Well, thanks for your time, man.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, no problem. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jason,
thank you, buddy.
We appreciate you. That was actually so interesting.
Yeah.
Kayla was just saying before we came on with the cameras, we all just seemed so interested. We couldn't wait to ask questions. We were so engaged.
Yeah.
I think our listeners and watchers are going to think the same way.
Yeah, I hope so. It was just interesting. We're like, just knowing somebody that does something like that, that's out of the norm. That's a very interesting job. Like what makes you pick that? And we were talking about, him, like what made him do it, and the meteorologist that came to this school, I think he was in 3rd grade or something like that. And that meteorologist probably is like, oh man, baby, I don't want to go do that tomorrow. It's going to suck. I don't want to go to school. But he went, and then he, set a path for this guy's entire life. He got real interested in it. So anyway, it's just
all
really,
I know
really cool.
is we're going.
We have to do it.
The 4 of us are going.
I don't know if Rachel's going to let me go.
No, we're going.
We're going. This is
I've
part,
got a 2-year-old.
It's part of being a father.
I got a 2-year-old. I can't get sucked
Taking
up
risks.
We're chasing a storm,
tornado.
You're going to be fine.
We're going to do it.
I don't know.
Hey, you're the strongest one of us, so you need to hold this down.
I want to wait till he gets that truck with the stakes that go
He's
to the
not
ground.
going to get it.
He said
I don't think
they're
he's going to
dangerous.
get it.
He'd rather be in a van.
He said he was looking into it.
I trust him. I trust him.
I do trust him.
He knows. He knows. Just we'll be good, and we'll get that whiskey when we're driving into the eye.
Yeah. If there's whiskey involved, there's a couple of shots of whiskey.
Oh, I think so.
We'll get out and do some selfies.
Well, apparently you're okay in the eye if you can get in the eye. It's the getting in and the getting out.
Getting out.
Yes, the eye is fine.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Could you just stay in the eye the whole time?
Everybody loves the eye. Run to the eye, Tully. Run to the eye.
We're laughing. I bet when we're on that thing, it'll be a different story.
Oh yeah,
I want to see one. I've been in one, but I want to see one.
I want to see one like that. I want to see like a big, big tornado. Like I can he guarantee that? I don't know if he can guarantee it.
I don't think you can.
I bet it's not guaranteed.
I bet he can. With all the technology they have with radar and everything that they have these days, he can predict where a tornado is gonna.
Yeah.
He can do it.
Especially
we have rotation. We have rotation right here.
Yeah.
He'll drive us right to it.
See, that's who we need doing the weather in Nashville. I mean, find your safe place. I mean, if that guy tells me to find a safe place, I'm finding a safe place. 100%. Not that I have a safe place, but the lady in high heels, I don't know.
Now wait a minute.
Here
goes. We just lost 10 more lady listeners. Come on, we're already 86% male right now. They're dropping like flies.
And do you prefer ladies in flat shoes?
What's wrong with heels?
I'll say this about the ladies, weather women these days. They look like they're going to the club.
Yeah.
This was not like the weather people I grew up with. These women are like dressed to go out to the club.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I'm good with that, actually.
Well, it's not a very long shift.
But
yeah, true.
I will say they're a little quick to like panic. She's a little.
Well, it's like anything. They sell fear. That's what people do.
Kurt, man, you're always setting me straight.
Kalo, they do have a long shift though. If it's tornado season,
that's true.
They're all night
Do you
long.
prefer flat
Yeah.
and by the time the shift's almost over, they're in flats.
Yeah.
They are.
Tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Something, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Wow.
so interesting.
That was fun.
fascinating. That dude is so cool, man.
Well, his work too is like really. Look at it; it looks fake. Like it just looks. How can it look like that? You know, it's really good.
Well, he started off by saying the drones, and I imagine that took his work to a whole new level.
We should have asked him how many drones he's lost.
That's the exact thing I was thinking.
Wow, that is.
And how expensive they are.
Right.
You know, and can you insure them? You're flying a drone. Say,
can't
sir,
doubt
what do you plan to? You're at Allstate. Said, what do you plan to do with this drone? Well, I'd like to fly them in a tornado. But, we cannot insure that.
Yeah. Shit out of left.
That sounds like something that we really need to do. Like to do a podcast from the chase. Jim, that's possible, right?
That is absolutely possible.
Yeah, Jim's all in.
That's going to be amazing. A little bit of whiskey.
Yep.
Good.
Just a little bit.
Maybe we should. Maybe it's a whiskey sponsor we need. Put right on the side of the van.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to follow that van.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, to be
We'll
continued.
see. We'll see. We'll pray about it. We'll see. See how we feel. You know, and where it falls in the year. You know, there's a lot of busy things. I've got a lot of things going. A lot of things.
Kayla's going to back out, man.
We'll see.
No, you can't back out.
He's backing out.
We all have to go.
We got to go.
3-1.
It's a team.
Well, we'll see what Wade says too. I mean, of course, I'd still be outnumbered even if Wade said no.
Yeah.
Try that in a small twister. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo, that was fun, guys.
All right.
That was a lot of
absolutely
fun.
We want to make sure we thank our sponsors, Patriot Mobile. By the way, I know we mention them every week. Please do yourself a favor. Go to patriotmobile.com.
Yeah.
Get a free month if that's what you want. You're not going to go back. The service is excellent. Their mission is even better. Try it out. Patriot Mobile. eSpaces, check them out at eSpaces.com. We love this place.
It's great.
We
It's
do.
a great building.
It's a great building. The way they treat the people that come in here is first rate.
Look at Tully caressing his helmet.
And by the way, we'll get to that at another time. But
His Patriots helmet. Y'all get your minds out of the gutter.
That was a long time ago.
yeah, it was. He's still bitter over it. Okay, Peacemaker Coffee. Peacemaker Coffee.
Great coffee.
Great coffee. We've got some fun stuff coming from them, and you are going to want to stay tuned for that because there's some really cool stuff coming from Peacemaker.
Love it.
Absolutely. Original Glory Beer. Oh,
The OG.
My son.
We love them. We love them. Thanks for watching. Make sure you download. Make sure you comment. The comments have been spectacular. Keep them coming. And this will be a good one for comments.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought about everything. For Thrash, Kalo, TK,
Kurt, you're so good.
I love
You're
you.
killing it.
This has been the Try That in a Small Town podcast.
Make sure to follow along, subscribe, share, rate the show, and check out our merch at trythatinasmalltown.com.